Hi everyone, Lee here from Yoga Spot. Welcome. If you haven't done yoga before, please don't do anything that causes any pain in any part of the body. Feel free to stop at any time, or if something feels uncomfortable, also stop and go back to a previous pose that was comfortable for you. If you've not done any yoga or exercise before, this is a gentle class. I've designed this class to gently stretch the body, particularly for people now sitting at home in self-isolation. Might be sitting for work, sitting for leisure, sitting at videos. There's a lot of sitting in the day. So gentle stretches, and as always with yoga, only doing what's suitable for you. So welcome. I hope you're somewhere where you can enjoy some sunshine or at least some fresh air. And please take the time to enjoy these practices and replay it as often as you feel necessary. And once again, welcome, and I trust you're all staying as well and as healthy as can be during these tricky times. Okay, so let's begin. So thanks very much to Chloe for being the participant in this virtual yoga class. So to begin the class, get whatever you need, a yoga mat or perhaps a blanket or beach towel beneath you. If you need supports beneath the head and neck, the buttocks, small of the back, under the hips or beneath the knees, adding those in for support as you need. Just be guided by how your body feels, lying on your back, flat on the floor. If you have any lower back issues, you might find having something rolled beneath the knees lessens that lower back pain or discomfort for you. It alters the angle of the thigh bone and the leg, taking pressure off the lower back. So that's worth a try. So beginning the class in Shavasana, relaxation pose. The feet are about hip width apart and falling gently out to the sides. Arms are a little away from the body. You might like to imagine the size of an orange or perhaps small grapefruit at the armpits. That's about how far away the arms are. Have the palms facing uppermost, or perhaps lightly turned in toward the body if that's more comfortable for you. Have the fingers lightly curled, perhaps in the shape of an autumn leaf. Autumn beginning now in Australia. But the palms and fingers are certainly not in contact with anything at all. The head and neck is in a straight line with the spine. And if you were wanting to, just to check your body shape, you could gently raise the head from the floor and look down the length of the body. The chin should fall midway between the feet if there was a dotted line running all the way down the length of the body. Returning the head and neck gently to the floor. Have the eyes and the lips lightly closed. Soften now all the muscles of the face, the neck and throat. Wriggle the shoulders down towards the feet and soften through the shoulder blades. Soften through the small of the back, the buttocks, the backs of the legs. And take now 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out. With each outward breath, consciously releasing, softening into the floor. Letting go with each outward breath. 3 times in this way. After the next outward breath, letting go of this practice if you've not already done so. And take the awareness now into the toes and feet. Notice if there's any tension, tightness, pain or heat in that area of the body. If there is, taking a long, slow, deep breath now, along with your attention into the toes, feet and ankles, and with the outward breath, consciously soften, allowing that part of the body to physically let go, breathing out any heat, tension, tightness or pain from the toes, feet and ankles out with the breath. Taking the next breath in with the awareness to the shins, calves and knees, and with the outward breath, exhaling any tension, tightness from this area, using that outward breath and awareness to soften through the calves, shins and knees. With the next inward breath, moving further up the body now to the thighs, the front of the thighs, the back of the thighs, hips, pelvis, pelvic organs, buttocks. Breathing out, softening through this part of the body. And again to this area if there's any tension, tightness or pain in any of those body areas. In time with your own breath, the next inward breath, take the breath and awareness to the abdomen, abdominal organs, chest, front of the trunk, back of the trunk. Breathing out, softening fully into the floor, releasing tension, tightness or pain from the trunk and abdomen out with the breath. In the same way, taking the next inward breath to the fingers, palms, forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, breathing out, softening, releasing. Defer the breath to the hands and arms and shoulders in this way. Taking the next inward breath to the face, scalp, throat, back of the neck, back of the head, so the entire head and neck. Breathing out, softening, releasing tension from the throat, face, scalp, back of the head and neck. Scanning now after the next outward breath from the face and head and neck. Beginning at the toes, scan through the body from the toes up to the crown of the head. Noticing if there's any remaining areas of tension, tightness or pain. If there is, using the breath to go back to any such areas and exhale out that pain or tension with the breath. Do this with a further 2 or 3 breaths. If there's no pain or tension, with the outward breath, simply melt yet further into the floor. After the next outward breath, let go of this physical relaxation technique and bring now the awareness to the mind. Notice how you're actually feeling, how your emotional state is at this point in time. Acknowledge what's been going on for you. And And take now a gentle breath in, and take that gentle breath to the mind. Imagine all those thoughts, concerns, anxieties, emotions, whatever it may be, being wrapped up inside that breath, and gently exhale the breath with those emotions. And continue this with 3 or 4 further gentle breaths, with each outward breath bundling up those fears, anxieties, thoughts or concerns, releasing them with each outward breath. Letting go of any concerns at this point in time. And after the next outward breath, let go of this practice, and hopefully now body and mind relatively free of tension, ready for the actual practice of yoga, unity of body and mind. So for the next 30 minutes or so, aim, if you can, to keep your mind focused on your breath and the movement of the body, being only in the here and now, the present moment, the only moment we actually have control of. So preparing now for some gentle warm-up, removing any supports from beneath the body, and then bring the palms to the floor and the arms close into the body. Bring both feet to the floor, knees are bent, pointing toward the ceiling. Have the feet in any position that's comfortable for you. Imagine a line drawn now on the back of the body, going from the tailbone to a point on the spine at the back of the waist. If you need further help to identify this point, imagine a line going straight through from the navel through to the spine. So that point on the spine is at the back of the waist. So breathing in now, move gently in any way that's comfortable for you up that imaginary line, beginning with the breath in from the tailbone, moving up to the point on the spine at the back of the waist, holding when you're ready, breathing out, gently moving back down that same imaginary line to the tailbone. Similar to a pelvic tilt, but not the same, more gentle, focused in the back of the body. Have your awareness following the movement. So breathing in, tailbone, up to the point on the spine at the back of the waist. Breathing out, moving from that point on the spine at the back of the waist, back down to the tailbone, feeling into the back of the body with this very gentle movement. Quite a subtle movement. After the next outward breath, let go of this movement, holding in the position you're in, and still have the awareness with the back of the body. Imagine now a 6 at the tailbone, a 12 at that point on the spine at the back of the waist, and imagine a clock face on the back of the body, the 3 and the 9 out to the sides or the flanks of the body, 6 at the tailbone, 12 at the point on the spine at the back of the waist, the other numbers where you'd expect to find them on a clock. Beginning now at the 6, begin to move in a clockwise direction around that imaginary clock face, pushing each of those imaginary numbers into the floor as you move gently, slowly around the clock face. And the next time you come to the 6 or the tailbone, begin now to time this movement with the breath. Breathing in on the upward half of the clock, pausing when you get to the 12, Breathing out as you move from the 12 back down and around to the 6. Breathing in on the upward half, out with the downward half. When you next reach the 6 after an outward breath, pause and reverse the direction. Now anti-clockwise around that imaginary clock face. Breathing in on the upward half, out with the downward half. After the next outward breath, letting go of this movement. There's no hurry to ever finish any yoga practice. Just finish when you finish the movement and completed the outward breath. And then holding in the position you're in and feeling into the back of the body. An extremely gentle way to exercise or awaken the muscles of the lower back without causing any pain or discomfort to the body. A beautiful thing to do each morning is to slowly stretch and awaken those muscles of the back. So preparing now for shoulder pose, in some traditions known as the bridge. Checking that there's nothing beneath the head and neck. And if there's any uncontrolled high thyroid issues or ulcers, perhaps just visualizing this practice. So palms to the floor, arms close into the body. Bring the heels quite close to the buttocks and have the feet hip width apart, knees pointing directly up to the ceiling. So the feet are hip width apart and pointing directly away from you. Take the awareness into the back of the body, the shoulders, the shoulder blades, and the front of the throat. Breathing in, slowly raise the hips, pelvis, spine up off the floor, coming up as high as is comfortable for you, feeling into those shoulder blades, shoulders. When you're ready, breathing out, coming down equally as slowly, vertebra by vertebra, with full control through the hips and pelvis. If you need a recovery breath once the back returns to the floor, take one. Otherwise, simply continue in time with your own breath. Inhaling up, holding for what's a suitable amount of time for your breath and body. Exhaling down with full control. If there's any wobbling through the hips, pelvis, you might be coming up too far, or it can be an indicator of weak core or abdominal muscles or of the back muscles. So only do what's suitable for your body, continuing on in time with your own breath. Eyes are lightly closed. Have the awareness in the back of the body, shoulders, shoulder blades, front of the throat. So the practices we're doing in this session are all great for the back and releasing tension. And after the next outward breath, when the back of the body returns to the floor, release back to Shavasana, the relaxation pose from the start of the class. The legs are outstretched fully on the floor, feet hip width apart and falling gently out to the sides. This allows the muscles of the hips and pelvis to also release. Arms a little away from the body, palms uppermost, soften through the shoulders and the back of the neck. And take a long, slow, deep breath in and out now, with the outward breath softening around the navel and all the abdominal muscles. Just checking there's no tension being held there after the shoulder pose, and doing this once more if you feel the need to release tension from any part of the body. but in particular the core muscles. So checking there's nothing on the floor beside you that's in your way to hamper your arms being now outstretched on the floor at shoulder height. Have the palms on the floor and bring both feet to the floor, knees pointing toward the ceiling, and bring the feet, knees and ankles together and have the feet any distance away from the buttocks that is actually comfortable for you. Take the awareness into the back of the body, hips, spine, neck and shoulders. Breathe in, breathing out, slowly drop both knees together toward the right side of the room and turn the head and neck toward your left. So knees, hips, ankles and feet moving right, head and neck moving left. Check that the palms are on the floor. If the eyes were open, you'd be gazing beyond the fingertips of the left hand. Breathing in, come back up to the starting position, the neutral position. Knees are upright, head and neck facing up to the ceiling. When you're ready, breathe out. This time gently drop both knees together toward the left, head and neck turning toward the right. Have the eyes closed and feel in to the stretch and twist through the spine, hips, shoulders, neck. Breathing in to the center or neutral. Breathing out to the opposite. Once more to each side in time with your own breath. And the next time you come to the neutral position after the knees have been to the left, head and neck to the right, release to Shavasana, relaxation pose. Take a long, slow, softening breath, softening all the body into the floor, feet falling out to the sides, palms uppermost, arms a little away, feeling through the back of the body, neck and shoulders, and just noticing if that's a practice that you could use throughout the day to break up what now might be a lot of sitting in your day. Again, an extremely gentle pose. If you keep the knees and the ankles together, really can't hurt or injure the back in particular in any way at all. So preparing now for single leg lock pose. To protect the lower back, bring first of all the left foot to the floor, left knee pointing toward the ceiling. Bring now the right knee and thigh all the way up to the chest and clasp the hands around the right shin. Breathe in slowly, fully, deeply. Breathe out fully. When you've fully breathed out, lift the head and neck up off the floor, bringing the nose toward the knee, not aiming necessarily to touch. Feel into the right hip, pelvis, neck, shoulders. When you're ready, breathe in, lowering the head and neck to the floor, releasing pressure through the shin, relaxing through the right thigh. Breathe out fully. When you've fully breathed out, come back up into the position. Eyes are lightly closed, feeling into the lower back, hip, neck, shoulders, abdominal organs beneath that right thigh. When you're ready to breathe in, lowering the head to the floor, taking a breath in, fully breathing out before coming back up. If there's any uncontrolled high blood pressure or cardiac issues, Please don't stay in this pose with the breath out for too long at all. That can put undue pressure on the heart. So if those contraindications apply to you, you might only be up in that position for a second or two. The next time the head and neck return to the floor, breathe out and release the left leg to be fully outstretched, the left leg. Right leg is still in position with the hands clasped on the knee. If there's no lower back or abdominal strength issues, you might like to continue in this format. If you move to this and experience any lower back pain, please revert to the previous way of doing it with that left foot on the floor. If you've switched to this full pose now and your left leg is fully outstretched on the floor, after you've breathed out and you're coming up into the pose, make sure the back of the left leg stays firmly on the mat, particularly at the back of the left knee. If it's coming up into the air, you're trying to raise the head too high, or there's an issue through the lower back. If you're watching Chloe on the video, this ground is uneven, so there is a space beneath her left leg. If you're at home, aim that that left leg stays on the floor, not lifting up. The next inward breath, when the head and neck return to the floor, with the outward breath, release the right leg and soften and release into Shavasana, relaxation pose. Both legs fully outstretched, feet falling gently out to the sides, palms uppermost. Use a releasing breath to the abdominal area, abdominal muscles, leg or back, wherever you feel you may need. And when you're ready, preparing to repeat to the opposite side, bringing now the right foot to the floor, right knee to the ceiling. So always in yoga, having a balanced approach. What you've done on one side, do on the other, unless it's contraindicated for you on the other side, if there's any serious hip or knee issues. When you're ready, bringing the left thigh to the chest, clasping the hands around the left knee or shin. Breathe in fully, slowly, deeply. Breathing out fully with the eyes slightly closed. Awareness in the back of the body, hips, shoulders, neck. When you have breathed out, coming up into the position, feeling now into the left hip and lower back. When you're ready, breathing in, returning to the floor. Fully breathing out before coming up into the position. Any discomfort on this side, you might choose to let go of this, return to Shavasana and just visualize the practice on this side in time with the breath for any visualization, and you'll still get some of the benefits of the practice. Feeling into the body, the movement of the abdominal organs beneath the thigh, subtle stretch through the lower back, hips and pelvis. Next time the head is on the floor, releasing the right leg to be fully outstretched on the floor for 2 or 3 further rounds now on this side. Again, if you've released that right leg to be fully outstretched, aim that the back of the right leg and the back of the right knee stay firmly on the floor. If this is too strong to your body, for your body, bend once more the right leg with the right foot on the floor. Always be guided by the body, not the mind, only doing what's suitable for your body. If the neck becomes tired or fatigued, keep the head on the floor. You can still do this movement in time with the breath. You'll get a stretch through the hips and pelvis. There'll be pressure from the thigh on the abdominal organs. Always having the body in mind with every practice that you perform. After the next inward breath, when the head and neck return to the floor, with the outward breath, release now the left leg to be fully outstretched on the floor. Returning once more to Shavasana, feet hip width apart, falling gently out to the sides, arms a little away from the body. Use a releasing breath for the abdominal muscles, back of the neck, back or hips, wherever you feel you may need it. And then lying in Shavasana with the eyes remaining closed, feeling the effects of the practice. Noticing whether it feels the same on both sides of the body. And this is a feature of this style of yoga. Always there is room built in at the end of each practice to notice how the body is actually feeling. So with the eyes open, rolling now to the front of the body. So the front of the body is on the mat, the arms by the sides and the forehead to the floor. Have some part of the feet touching each other. This protects the lower back when in a moment the upper back will come up off the floor. So have either the big toes touching or the heels touching or both. Just experimenting to see which is most comfortable for you. Soften through the small of the back. And preparing now for the crocodile pose, bring the elbows to the floor, cupping the hands together and resting the chin in the cupped hands up off the floor. So the forearms are up off the floor, hands are cupped, face facing forward. Walk now the elbows away from each other towards the sides of the room and notice how that alters the curve of your spine, and choose the most comfortable elbow positioning for you. When you feel comfortable in that plane of the body, walk now the elbows away from the body toward the far end of the room that you're looking at or facing. And then walk the elbows back in closer to the chest, and again notice where that alters or affects the curve of your spine. And choose now the best elbow positioning for your body comfort or spine comfort. Checking that some part of the feet are still together. Once you are comfortable, allow the eyes to lightly close and soften the muscles of the face. And take the awareness into the back of the body and feel the shape of the spine, the curves through the spine, from the tailbone progressing up past the shoulder blade, back of the neck to the crown of the head. And begin to slow and deepen the breath now, with the awareness staying in the back of the body. Crocodile pose, useful for releasing tension through the spine. Good for shoulders, shoulder blades and the back of the neck, particularly if you've been over a computer or again sitting for a lot of the day. After the next outward breath, releasing the arms, returning the forehead to the floor, the arms by the sides. Release the feet and turn the head to whichever side is comfortable for you. Allow the back, the entire body to soften into the floor. Use a releasing breath if you need. And feel into the back of the body. And again, take the time to notice how the crocodile pose affects you. If you could build that into your day or your children's day while watching TV, a screen, whatever it may provide you with some relief of tension through the back of the body. allowing the eyes to open. Moving now onto all fours for the cat pose, Marjariasana. Take the time to set up in this pose correctly, so bring the knees directly beneath the hips and have the knees hip width apart at least. If they're too close together, you won't get that free flowing movement through the spine. Have the wrists directly beneath the shoulders. Any wrist issues, have the hands in clenched fists. It takes some pressure off the wrists. The head and neck are in a straight line with the spine to start with. Have the eyes lightly closed and take the awareness into the back of the body. If you've been practicing yoga for some time, feel also into the chest, the front of the throat, the abdominal muscles. If you're new to yoga, stay with your awareness in the back of the body, the spine. Breathing in, slowly raise the tailbone and the crown of the head up toward the ceiling. Allow the spine to just dip down in its natural curves, elbows and thighs still and straight. Breathing out when you're ready, lower the head and neck gently. Arch every single vertebra up to the spine. Tuck the buttocks in and under. Draw the navel to the spine. Feel through the back of the body. Breathing in, slowly raise the crown of the head and tailbone to the ceiling. Allow the spine to fully dip down as much as your natural curves allow. Breathing out, lowering head and neck, arching up, buttocks in and under, navel drawn to the spine. Continuing on in time with your own breath. Any vertigo, inner ear infections, uncontrolled high blood pressure or heart conditions, don't lower the head any lower than the level of your own heart. So stopping about there if you're watching on the video. And be guided by how your own body feels. Any neck issues, you'll only lower or extend the head and neck as much as is comfortable for you. Only ever doing what's suitable for your body. So this pose is excellent at reducing tension through all parts of the body, re-energizing and providing oxygen to the spine and spinal nerves. And just checking that your wrists are actually directly beneath the shoulders. So here, Chloe might like to move them back a little bit on the next time she's breathing out toward her knees. So that the wrists actually come closer to the knees. Excellent. So this pose can be used in the morning to reawaken the spine and the abdominal organs and lungs, or in the evening to actually calm down before going to bed. Brilliant for children. Up to the next outward breath. Let go of the movement. If it's suitable for your knees and hips, come to a kneeling position, taking the buttocks onto the heels. Have the feet wide enough apart to accommodate the buttocks. If you need or would like to try, put a pillow or cushion in between the heels and the buttocks. It takes the pressure off the ankles. And if kneeling is unsuitable for you, come to a seated position that's comfortable for you. So if you need to sit with the legs outstretched in front of you, having something beneath the sitting bones, the large bones, there's one in each butt cheek, if you like, that extends down. That's what you're aiming to be sitting on. Having something underneath there tilts the pelvis forward so that you're more upright through the spine, and it saves you from getting that lower backache through the shoulders if you have bad posture, and it supports the abdominal muscles so you don't get that abdominal drag. So again, with the aim of combating so much sitting, the shoulder rotations. Breathe. Check first that you are upright through the spine and comfortable. Head, neck, in a straight line with the spine, face looking directly forward. Breathing in, arms are outstretched at shoulder height and turn the palms up toward the ceiling. Breathing out, bend the elbows, bring the fingertips to the tops of the shoulders. Breathe in. Breathe out, bring the elbows and arms up and forward. Elbows coming close together at the front of the body. Breathing out as the elbows and arms come past the body, extending behind, feeling into the shoulder blades, shoulders. Breathing out as those elbows come up and over. So you're breathing out when the weight of the arms and that body shaper help expelling the air. Breathe in when the elbows are up and back, lungs being able to fully have the room to fully breathe in. Breathing out as the elbows come forward and close together. Breathing in as they go up and back. Eyes lightly closed, feeling into the shoulders and shoulder blades. After the next outward breath, pausing and reversing the direction. So now with the elbows together in front of the body, breathe in as those elbows now come up and back. Breathing out as they come past and close to the sides of the body and meeting or coming close together at the front of the body. Breathing in when they're up and back. Breathing out as they come past the sides and close together at the front. Continuing on, 3 more rounds in this direction. Awareness with the shoulders, chest, back of the body. Remaining upright through the spine. And after the next outward breath, letting go of the practice. Give the elbows, shoulders, neck a shrug or shake if you feel you need to. And softening through the shoulder blades, shoulders, back of the neck. Sitting comfortably with the eyes closed. Feeling into each shoulder. Noticing any differences between the left and the right. And taking the awareness now into the neck, the front, the sides and the back of the neck. Once again, shrug or roll the shoulders down and back a little. Check that you are upright through the spine. Adjust any of the supports beneath the sitting bones if you need to, or if you've been kneeling now for some time and would like to switch seated positions, feel free to do so. Just check that you've then settled back into position, upright through the spine. Head and neck resting lightly at the top of that long, straight spine. Chin parallel with the floor. Closing the eyes gently. Take a breath in. Breathing out, turn the head and neck to look beyond the right shoulder, but with the eyes closed. Chin level with the floor. When you're ready to breathe in, turn the head and neck gently back to the centre, the neutral position. When you're ready to breathe out, rotating to the left. Chin still level with the floor. This is 1 round. 3 further rounds in time with your own breath. Awareness within the neck. Any neck issues, you might only be moving a centimetre or 2. making this the final round, completing when you've done an equal number to each side. There's no hurry. On completion, remaining seated with the eyes closed, feeling into the neck. Noticing if you had the same degree of movement on the left side as the right. And allowing the eyes to open, and moving to a standing position. Have the feet about hip width apart, arms by the sides, palms slightly turned toward the back of the body. Tuck the buttocks in and under, chin parallel with the floor. Roll the shoulders down and back a little and soften through the shoulders, back of the neck. Take a long, slow, deep breath in, and breathing out, gently allow the body weight to fold down on itself. The chin, head and neck coming down, shoulders rotating forward and down, coming down toward the floor with the gentle outward breath. Bending the knees if you need to allow the hands to come down toward the floor. Same outward breath, swinging the arms and hands, helping empty the lungs. When you're ready to breathe in, slowly rolling back up the body. The breath filling the lungs helps the body move back up to the starting position. If you need a recovery breath, take one. Otherwise, simply breathing out, allow the weight of the body moving down upon itself to gently lower, swinging from standing. If you need to, bending the knees slightly to allow the hands to come toward the floor, swinging, emptying the lungs. When you're ready to breathe in, coming up. As always, any uncontrolled high blood pressure, vertigo, heart conditions, not taking the head any lower than the level of your heart, stopping at whichever point you need to, continuing on in time with your breath. And this time, if you'd like an extension on this practice, with that outward breath, and the hands have swung 1 or 2 times, take the arms around behind the knees, interlocking, straightening the knees, getting that stretch through the hamstring, face as close to the thighs or knees as possible. Breathing in when you're ready, releasing the arms, coming up. So that just gives a further stretch to the hamstrings and back of the legs, once more in any way that's suitable for your body today. So this forward bend is excellent for releasing tension through the back of the body. But as for all forward bends, helpful for closing down or closing out stress, anxieties, allowing the body and mind to just shut down a little, particularly useful in these times. Good if you're feeling angry or agitated. And when you're next in the upright position, then remaining standing comfortably. Feeling the effects of the practice once you are in that standing mode, feeling through the entire body and noticing also where the mind's at. All of these practices designed to be done with the eyes closed. And allowing the eyes to open and moving now the feet hip width apart or a little wider if comfortable for you. And turn the toes in toward each other, almost as though you're slightly pigeon-toed. This protects the knees, preventing any over-rotation during this next practice. Kati Chakrasana, waist rotating pose. Have the chin parallel to the floor, head and neck facing forward. Roll the shoulders down and back a little. Tuck the buttocks in and under. Breathing in, extend the arms out to the sides, outstretched. Breathing out, bring the left hand to the right elbow, the back of the right hand to the back of the waist, and turn the body to look beyond the right shoulder, feeling through the sides of the body, the twist through the spine. When you're ready to breathe in, come back to the starting pose, arms outstretched, stretched further between those fingertips, and then breathing out, rotating to the opposite side, in time with the breath. Twice more to each side. If it doesn't upset your balance, have the eyes closed and feel fully into the hips, shoulders, neck, sides of the body, spine. If you need the eyes open for balance, certainly do so, but have the awareness focused in those areas just mentioned. Again, excellent for releasing tension, both physical and mental. Any of the twisting poses in yoga not only untwist the physical body, but also the mind. Extremely useful in this day and age. Mind with the breath and the movement. And the next time you come to the centre, after having turned to look over the left shoulder, with the outward breath this time, release the arms to the sides. Allow the legs and feet to return to a more natural stance. And when you're standing comfortably, shrug or release the shoulders, knees or back if you need to. And then standing comfortably with the eyes closed, feeling the effects of Kati Chakrasana for you today. And again, knowing that you can build that into any part of your day, particularly if you're sitting or feeling tension through the spine. And allowing the eyes to open. We'll finish the physical practices today with a part breathing, part winding down pose. So bring the feet reasonably close together, just in a way that's comfortable for you. Bring the palms onto the front of the thighs. The arms are just hanging comfortably in front of the body, chin parallel with the floor. Closing the eyes. Take the awareness into the lungs and the breath, and begin to notice your breath. And now timing the movement with the breath. Breathing in, raise the arms overhead so the fingers come up to be pointing to the sky when you've fully breathed in. Pausing when you're ready to breathe out, slowly lowering the arms and palms back down to the front of the thighs, aiming that your palms are back on your thighs when you've fully breathed out. That's one round. 2 further rounds in time with your own breath. Breathing in, pausing, and when you're ready to breathe out, lowering the palms in time with your breath so that they reach the thighs when you have fully exhaled. So your arm movement is actually matching your breath, not the other way around. On completion of that third round, standing comfortably with the eyes closed, anchoring the awareness to the breath. That practice is excellent before bed for calming both body and mind, but in particular the mind. You could do 10 or 15 rounds of that before going to bed and hopefully achieve a much more calm state to go to bed with and a deeper sleep. So that completes the physical practices today. We'll move now to Shavasana for a short 5-minute body relaxation before completing this entire session. So with the eyes open, moving to Shavasana, that's the relaxation pose that you started the class in. Feel free to get your extra supports for beneath the knees, buttocks, small of the back, or the head and neck. And if you're in a cooler room or cooler space, also add extra socks or a layer of clothing or blanket as the body does cool down during relaxation. So check once more that you actually are in Shavasana, feet hip width apart and falling gently out to the sides, head and neck in a straight line with the spine. Arms are a little away from the body. Palms are uppermost or perhaps lightly turned in. Fingers are lightly curled. Wriggle the shoulders down towards the feet and soften through the shoulder blades. Soften through the back of the neck, the face, the lips. Take now 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out. And with each outward breath, soften further and further in to the floor. After the next outward breath, letting go of this practice. Checking through the body for any tension, tightness, pain, anything beneath the body or on top of the body that's going to annoy you or impede your practice. Making any adjustments to your supports or coverings that you need to now. And then aiming to remain as still as you can throughout so that you get the benefits of the practice. This will be a short relaxation technique for today's class. Bring the awareness now fully to the body lying on the floor, just checking that the eyes and the lips are lightly closed. Soften the muscles around the lips, around the nostrils, around the eyelids. Give the lower jaw a little wriggle. Rotate the tongue around the inside of the mouth. And perhaps also try lightly curling the tip of the tongue toward the roof of the mouth, just lightly. And notice if any of those maneuvers alter or affect the tension in either the face or the jaw. You might like to do that again with that in mind, the wriggling of the lower jaw, the rotating of the tongue, the light curling of the tip of the tongue. If you do find that that makes a difference to your facial muscles or the large jaw muscles, those 3 simple techniques on their own are useful for you to use at any time of the day to release tension. There's often a lot of undue stress held in the facial muscles, strong jaw muscles, that can lead to headache and neck tension. Often felt if you're driving, stressed, perhaps at the computer. So again, simple techniques you can use to rectify tension in those muscles for yourself at any time. So take now another long, slow, deep breath and allow the body to sink into the floor with the outward breath. And bring the awareness now fully into the body, letting go of that deep breathing after the next outward breath if you haven't already. The eyes remaining lightly closed. Feel now how the body feels where it's in contact with the floor, at the back of the heels, back of the legs, the buttocks, shoulder blades, shoulders, back of the head and neck. Begin to notice the weight of the clothing or any blankets on the body. Notice how the skin feels where it's exposed to the air. Observe the rise and the fall of the chest with each breath. Chest rising with the breath in, chest falling with the breath out. Letting go of the body now. Become aware of the sounds outside of the room you're in. Not naming the sound, just observe a particular sound exists and move on to find another sound and another. As many sounds as possible. Shift your awareness now to inside the room you're in and continue the search for sound. Again, not getting caught up in a particular sound, acknowledge it and move on, searching for sound. And bring now the awareness to the sound of the breath at the nostrils. The sound of the breath at the nostrils. And letting go of the sounds now. As now is the time in this practice for a short mental body rotation. No physical movement at all, simply moving the awareness from body part to body part as they are named, allowing the awareness to rest lightly on each part before moving on to the next named body part. Beginning now with the right hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, right shoulder, armpit, side of the chest and waist, right hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf, ankle, sole of the foot, top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Moving now to the left side of the body, the left hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, left shoulder, armpit, side of the chest and waist, left hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf, sole of the foot, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Moving now up the back of the body, right heel, left heel, back of the right leg, back of the left, right buttock, left buttock, small of the back, the upper back, back of the head and neck, the whole spine to the crown of the head. Moving down now the front of the body, the forehead, right ear, left ear, right temple, left temple, right eyebrow, eyebrow centre, left eyebrow, right eye, left eye, right nostril, left nostril, right cheek, left cheek, the upper lip, lower lip, the chin and entire jaw, right collarbone, left collarbone, the chest, navel, abdomen and pelvic region, the whole body, the whole body, the whole body all together. Letting go now of this body rotation and becoming aware once more of the weight of the body on the floor. Feel into the heels, back of the legs, buttocks, shoulder blades, shoulders, back of the head and neck. Notice again the weight of the blankets or clothing on the body, how the skin feels where it's exposed to the air. Observe the rise and the fall of the chest with each breath. And begin to deepen that breath now, and along with the deepening breath, deepen the awareness to include awareness of the dimensions of the body on the floor, awareness of the room you're in, the position of the doors and windows of that particular room, becoming aware once more of the time of the day, whether you've been practicing in the morning, afternoon or evening. And tune your awareness now to begin to notice the sounds outside the room, searching for sounds once more. And become fully aware that you have been practicing a shortened form of Yoga Nidra, a deep body relaxation practice. And know now that the practice is complete. Yoga Nidra is complete. You might like to begin to reawaken the body by gently moving the fingers and toes, the hands and the feet. Perhaps turning the head and neck gently from side to side.
You might like to take a long, slow, reinvigorating breath, and perhaps along with that long, deep breath, have a full body stretch. Push the heels away from you, the toes toward, extend the arms overhead, fully stretching and releasing. If you feel you need to release the muscles of the lower back, you might like to bend the knees and bring both thighs to the chest. Clasp the hands around the knees or the shins and make small circular movements with those knees, or perhaps practice rocking and rolling from side to side. Just whatever it is you feel you need to do today to reawaken the body. And when you're ready, rolling onto the right side with the eyes remaining closed. Taking a few minutes here if you need to reacquaint yourself with your body, the room, the time of the day, and perhaps reflect on how you feel now as opposed to how you felt at the start of this class. And know that you can replay this at any time or make use of any of the practices at any time that feels necessary for you over the coming weeks. And just as you're ready, coming to a seated position that's comfortable for you. And if you're still feeling quite internalized, have the eyes lightly closed. If you need to, rub the hands together until they're hot. When they are hot, cup the hands in a V shape and hold them over the closed eyes, opening the eyes, gazing into the warmth and the depth of those warm hands. If you feel you need to do this again, repeating for as many times as you feel necessary until you're ready to open the eyes, facing the day or the evening. So thank you very much for participating in this class. I hope it's given you some benefits. I'll be posting these regularly, ongoing, and some shortened relaxation and meditation practices also, but certainly the physical practices 3 times a week. The full version of Yoga Nidra is also on the Yoga Spot website if that's something that you would be interested in. Otherwise, I hope you have a lovely day, that you've had some benefit from this practice, and please all stay well, as healthy as you can, eat well, sleep well, rest well, breathe well. Thank you so much.